I'm here in the Novant Health kitchen with pastry chef Miranda Brown from the Asbury, who has a great Thanksgiving dessert with no added sugar.
Yeah, so what I'm making today is an apple galette, and we're going to take this filling here that's prepared with just a little bit of applesauce, cinnamon, ginger, and we're going to pack that into this galette and just start forming it, and then we'll get it ready to go in the oven.
That sounds great. You can already really smell the cinnamon in there. It definitely smells like fall.
Yeah, it really just smells like Thanksgiving to me. So we're going to start taking this filling, and we're just going to gently pile it right here in the center. And you don't want it to be too high, but you want it to be kind of towards the bottom of the pastry. That way nothing dries out. And
you just sort of kind of pack it in there, you know, no real form or function to this. So
no, it's really rustic, so it's really easy. You can put it in messily, or you can take the time to arrange it really prettily. It really just depends on what you're looking for.
That's great. And now you're going to start to fold the dough in.
So we're going to take the dough and just pull it up like this, and then kind of crimp it.
And that's just a really light pinch.
Just very softly, just pinching it together. And that way, this will hold all of the filling inside of the galette, and it'll just bake up real nice and pretty like this. So everybody will think you spent a long time on it.
I was going to say, it looks fancy. It looks, even though you said it's rustic, it really does have an elegant kind of feel to it.
Yeah, it's super easy, and it's actually really good for you too. So
that's great. And so now we've pinched it all the way around, and what's the next step?
So we're going to take this and just make sure the pastry is cold the whole time. And then, since it's still cold, we're just going to take a little bit of egg wash right here, and we're just going to lightly brush that on.
And what's the purpose of the egg wash?
The egg wash helps give it like a flakier, crispy crust on the outside. Some people like to sprinkle salt too for a little bit of added flavor, but I think that it's fine just as it is.
And that gives you that kind of really good golden brown color when it comes out of the oven as well.
Exactly, and since the pastry is so thin, it will brown really quick, so you just have to keep an eye on it, and this will help give it that nice color without being raw.
That sounds great. So after you put the egg wash on, it's going to go into the oven. What's the temperature and how long?
Depending on your oven, you usually want to go with about 350 to 375 degrees, and then it's going to bake for about 30 to 40 minutes based on size. You just want to look for the bottom to get crispy, and you can lift that up with a spatula to check.
Well, we're going to get that in the oven and check on it in just a minute. But first, for a few healthy Thanksgiving tips, let's check in with Novant Health registered dietitian Kelly Homesley.
Thanks, Adam. So galettes are typically going to be a lot healthier than your traditional pie, as they involve less pastry. They're also going to be a lot easier to prepare, as they're free-formed and they're supposed to have a rustic feel to them. One great thing about the galette that we're preparing today is that it has no added sugar, so it's actually going to have honey and apples to naturally sweeten it. Some other natural sweeteners are going to be maple syrup, also molasses, date sugar, and coconut sugar. It is, however, important to remember that while these are less processed than white table sugar and even more nutritious, you still want to have them in moderation. So as with anything, although it may be better for you, it is still important to make sure that you don't have unlimited amounts of it.
Thanks, Kelly. And the galette has come out of the oven. It looks beautiful. That golden brown crust is just gorgeous.
Thank you. So now we're just going to add a few finishing touches, and we're going to start with a little bit of whipped cream. There is no sugar in this. I just took some cream, and then I put it in the mixer and let it whip up to the consistency that I wanted. And we don't need to add any sugar because it just has so much flavor in the galette as it is.
That's great.
So
and then
now,
you also got some apples as well?
Yeah, so we're just going to garnish with some freshly sliced apples. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You just want to kind of add a little freshness to the already cooked apples. And then we're going to take this honey walnut sauce that we made and just drizzle it over.
That's going to be beautiful. And that's just honey. It's the only added sugar in this entire recipe.
Yeah, so it's optional, but all I did was heat up a little bit of honey, brought it to a simmer, and then I added my chopped and toasted walnuts. And then I just let it simmer. Once you let it simmer like that, you let it develop the flavor in the honey, so it doesn't just taste like two different things.
That's great. It all kind of comes together and everything. And then you can just serve it straight from the board like that.
Yeah, so you could just take this and cut it up and, divvy it out as you wanted to.
I think there'll be lots of people fighting over that dessert. Pastry chef Miranda Brown from the Asbury, thank you very much. You can get the full recipes online at NovantHealthThanksgivingParade.com, and don't miss the Novant Health Thanksgiving Day Parade on Thanksgiving morning in Uptown Charlotte.